Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here, ready to dive into some more Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. And today, I thought we'd choose a battle where we don't use dreadnoughts or battleships, but take on something a little smaller. So there's a few different options for that. And right here under Defend Your Convoy, we've got 5 transports, and we're going to be taking on 1 battle cruiser. And we've got the choice between heavy cruisers, light cruisers, and destroyers. So I want to choose guns and fire control. I want to have as heavy a gun as I can possibly take into battle here. And we can take armored cruisers, semi-armored cruisers, light cruisers, or destroyers. I feel like destroyers would get eaten alive by this battle cruiser, which is basically kind of a pre-dreadnought. It's almost a battleship, and it's going to have a lot of guns on it. So we're going to build this. Now listen, guys, I've read all your comments. I get it. Some of my builds are not historically accurate. That's the point of this game. It's that you get to do things that normally wouldn't have been done. Now, they may not be pretty. They may not be what would have ever happened historically in real life ever. But that's the beauty of this. Now, if you're talking about things like, well, hey, listen, when you do this, that doesn't really help you because this. Okay, I can feel that. I get that. But if you're saying things like, well, that gun wouldn't, that ship wouldn't have had 13-inch guns with 12-inch guns. I don't care. It's fun. It's what I want to do. But I totally understand the comments that are related to performance and what's going to help you the most. So I'm just giving you guys a hard time. Please keep up with all your comments. I don't care what kind of comments they are. I've learned a lot already. I've been diving into documentaries and reading. I'm going to pick up a book on the Atlantic War here very soon. World War I, World War II, so I can learn a little bit more about those time periods. I'm excited about that, so hopefully I'll have some knowledge to pass along very soon. But I'm going to go ahead and dive in and build my armored cruisers, and we're going to take on this battle. Okay, so here we go. We're going to have 2 heavy cruisers. I've got 11-inch guns, which is the biggest that I can go with. They're dual guns rather than the triples, and I don't have any really smaller guns because there's not a lot of point to those, although it does have some of these 2-inch guns, which I'm not really sure why those are on there. They're kind of pointless. I've gone with heavy shells because I want to try and get them to penetrate the armor on that thing. Cordite explosives. And we're going to go with armor-piercing shells when we get into combat because I'm hoping that'll make the difference and we can actually make some damage on this thing. So we'll see what happens. Haven't done this one before. I've never taken on a battle cruiser with 2 heavy cruisers. So we'll see how this goes. We're fighting the United States for the first time. And the main thing here is we've got to protect these transports. So anything we can do to get between the transports and my enemy are going to be helpful. He is in the northwest, so he's actually kind of straight ahead of these transports. That's not ideal. So we'll go ahead and pursue until we make contact. And there he is, but unfortunately he is on the transport side of things. That is not good. So we've got to get between him and those transports, let them start steaming away in the opposite direction. We've got 5 of them, which means we need to keep 3 alive to win this. So let's go ahead and start turning in that direction. Let's get switched over to armor-piercing shells because I know he's got me outgunned. There's nothing I can do about that. We're going to go ahead and slow things down now. Let's go get a look at him. I don't even know what kind of ship it is. I'm sure it's well, we know it's a battle cruiser. That's about it. Alright, he's got a lot of guns. We haven't identified him yet. Once we do, we should have a lot more information as far as what kind of guns he's got. But you can see he's just a big floating gun platform is what he is. Hopefully these armor-piercing shells are going to make a difference, but we've got to close the distance a little bit. I just think we're too far away right now. He's right at the edge of my range for my guns. We are landing some hits, though. Just not doing much with them. I'm going to go ahead and watch from here for a minute. 89% on the identification process. So we'll get a lot more information about him here in a minute. Man, we're not even coming close. Okay, these ones might land. Ah, it's a Connecticut. The second cruiser, the Air Colt, is not even coming close on their shots. Ugh. This is painful. I mean, I know we're pretty far away. So it's interesting that once you identify the ship, you can see things like their displacement, top speed. You can see their guns, how many shots they have, what their percentage chances are of hitting, which seems like a lot of information to be able to have about a ship that's way off in the distance. There's a hit. Got a fire going. Oh. Is that me that just took those hits? Let's take a look. Yeah, the Air Coal. Alright, let's start turning this way. Is he getting behind me and at my transports? He is. Thankfully, he's still shooting at me. It was kind of dumb on my part to let him get at my transports like that. They are trying to get away. I definitely should have stayed between him and the transports, though. Alright, we got him down to 94%. It's just a slow process. But I'm already at 75% on one of mine. Now he's firing on my transports. Darn it. We're at max speed, which is only 22 knots. Gotta land some hits. Air Coal's at 75%. Jeez, Delfino's at 90. They're both heavily on fire. He's about to take out one of my transports already. We're coming in close now, and I don't know that that's a good thing. There went my first transport. Oh. And there went my first cruiser. Dang. Finally getting some nice hits, but unfortunately, it's probably too little too late. Oh. So this shows you what happens when you're outgunned and you don't know what you're doing, like me. Too little, too late. Man, he lit me up. There it is. Woo, rough day. All right, let's try this again, but do something a little different. As I'm building this, I do want to point out something, and this was actually mentioned by one of our viewers, and that is that if you change the displacement, you actually change the size of the hull. So by lowering the displacement, if you watch when I do this, it'll actually shorten the size of the ship, and it becomes a smaller ship. So, and vice versa, you extend the displacement, you make a bigger ship, which makes for the availability of more guns, more room, things like that. So that solves some of those problems. I've loaded this thing up with torpedo tubes, 2 on each side, 1 in the front, 1 in the back, or maybe 2, I don't know. I don't know how those torpedoes work exactly. I think it's just 1 on each side, in the front and back. And then the biggest guns I could put on it. So that's where we're at. If I could lower the cost just a tiny, tiny bit, I can get myself 3 of them. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. All right, so I've got a short range, few bulkheads, lower speed, in order to get 3 of these guns, 3 of these heavy cruisers. And so we're going to try a bunch of torpedo tubes, bigger guns, and we're going to see if that can make the difference. So let's dive in for round 2. And this time I'm not going to worry about just using armor-piercing shells. I'm going to leave it on auto, so I think it'll let them decide that. So this time it's Italy against the United States. We've got 3 of them this time. We've got to stay between him and the transports. Smoke spotted in the northwest. So we'll speed things along. We should make contact before very long at all. I'm going to cut right in front of these transports so I can get up there and hopefully spot him up here somewhere rather than over here. Last time, pretty much right after I dropped out on the video, is when we made contact. There he is. All right, he is up there, so we're going to kind of go straight at him for now. Got 2 guns on the front on each one of these things. And again, we've got to get into range. We're not there yet. Well, we are within range of my guns, but let's see how we do. And since I've got torpedoes on the front, hopefully I have launched some of those already as well. And I went with the most advanced tower this time, hoping it'd be a little more accurate. See, now on this version of the game in the Naval Academy, because you know exactly what you're going to be facing, you can build your ship according to your enemy. Now, obviously in the campaign that's not going to be the case. You've got to prepare your ship for all eventualities. So in this particular instance, I only put big guns because I knew I was going up against a battle cruiser. But in a campaign, I've got to have these things with big guns and small guns because they also have to be able to protect against torpedo boats, destroyers, things of that nature. I'm going to go ahead and start turning. And I'm going to go ahead and get up close to this guy because 3 targets for him means he can't pick me off one by one, and hopefully if we get in close enough to where we can have accurate shots, we can just pummel him into oblivion before he can take out all 3 of my ships. So we'll watch the Delfino for a few minutes. I'm sure he's faster than me. Alright, we're causing some damage. I mean, he's still at 99%. What I really want to do is just take out a couple of his guns. Come on, guys. Let's land some hits. Wow. Dang, that was fast. Took out my flagship already. On his way toward my... Oh, jeez. He's on his way toward my transports now. Come on, guys. Let's get some hits on this thing. These 14-inch guns are just beasts. Alright, I'd love to know your thoughts on this, guys. Let me know. What do you think I need to do differently to be able to win this mission? Should I go with some destroyers and just build a bunch of destroyers and try to pummel him with torpedoes? I don't know how powerful the torpedoes would be. Got him down to 90%, but man. He's already sunk one of my ships. He's halfway to sinking a second. See that? The ship that was barely damaged just got all but wiped out from one salvo. That was amazing, even though it just killed my ship. But that shows you what one of these things can do up close when they land some hits. Oh my goodness. Wow. And there goes just both of them instantly. Alright, we're gonna wrap it up right there. That was brutal. But I would love to hear your thoughts. What do I need to do differently? Is it what I'm building? Is it my tactics? Man, that was ugly. Alright, but I'm going to upload it anyway because I don't hide my blemishes. We can all learn from the good and the bad. We're going to watch the Serena sink for a minute here just because it's so pretty to watch, even though it is one of my ships. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. We will see you again next time.